This is a lecture from Open Tuition. For the free lecture notes that go with this podcast, please visit opentuition.com.
I think stock controller inventory is probably the most likely this time. In theory, you rolled them on paper F2 or university. How many of you, out of interest, how many of you took paper F2? Oh, good. So you're all perfect at it. However, for the benefit of everyone, and even F2, I suppose, was a while ago, I do think it's likely this time. And the arithmetic has nothing extra. It's pure F2. So to remind you of what is after the arithmetic, here again is a quick question. Have a read with me. Again, I've kept it fairly short. I just want to remind you of the arithmetic involved. But X PLC needs to purchase 1,800 units a year. So whatever it is we're dealing with, we need 1,800 units a year. And do remember, to make any sense at all of what's coming, that we assume always that we're buying, in fact I'll write this down, for any inventory control question, we assume that we're buying fixed batch quantities at fixed intervals. I'll remind you what I mean by that in 1 second. But we assume always that we're buying fixed batch quantities at fixed intervals. And so all I mean by that, in this question we need 1,800 units a year. Well, there are lots of different ways you could buy it. For instance, you could buy 900 units every 6 months. So it's a fixed quantity each time, 900 each time, at fixed intervals every 6 months. You with me? That'll give you 1,800. Or another way of achieving it, you could buy 150 units every month. And we could go on and on and on. There's any number of permutations, combinations, but 150 every month. Again, it'd give you your 1,800 a year, but it's a fixed quantity each time, fixed intervals. Which later, when the bits are written, is a problem. That might not be sensible. But with any arithmetic on inventory control, always it's fixed quantity at fixed intervals. And the problem basically is, how many should we order each time? You know, is it better to have 900? Is it better to have 150? Or would it be better to have 200 each time? And so on. You with it? That's the problem. If he does ask it, then there is absolutely no doubt there'll be two things involved. First of all, I'm actually going to add a bit to this question. Can you squeeze in before the optimum batch quantity? Suppose I tell you, we order, let's say, 100 each time. Let's work out the total cost per annum. And so I'm going to add on a bit. Part A, rightly or wrongly, we order 100 each time. What's the total cost per annum going to be? Let me check you with the costing, because there are two costs involved here. First of all, if you look at the question now, it says the purchase price of each unit is $25. We can get discounts if we order large quantities. However, ignore that for the moment, because if we're only ordering 100 each time, You can see from the table, we're not going to get a discount, so I'll deal with that later. Delivery costs are $32 per order, and holding costs are 18% of inventory value. Well, make sure you clear how the costings go, because he would definitely ask for it. There are two costs to worry about in either order. First of all, the ordering costs. We're going to work out the costs over a year. It tells us every time we place an order, we've got delivery costs of $32. Surely over a year, this will be the number of orders placed times the cost each time. If we order 100 each time, how many orders will we need over a year, please? 18. It's 1,800 in total. 100 each time, you'll need 18 orders. The cost each time of placing orders is what? Was it 32? Help? 32. And so over a year, the total ordering cost, 18 times 32. Will somebody check me? Is it 576? 576. And now, obviously, but I'll get you to do something later, that if you order bigger or lower quantities each time, you'll have more or fewer orders. That cost will vary depending on the quantity of the orders. Agreed? In addition, though, we've got the inventory holding costs. And the holding costs, the more or fewer units you hold in inventory, the greater or lower the cost over a year will be. In words, it'll be the average inventory times the holding cost per unit. Tell me, please, if you order 100 units each time, on average, what will your stock level be, please, in units? It'll be 50, yeah. Be clear. You receive 100 units in your warehouse at the start of the year. You'll be using them, and so the level will gradually fall to 0. Then you'll have another delivery of 100. It'll fall to 0, and so on. So your stock level throughout the year keeps going between 100 and 0. Your average stock level will be the order quantity 100 divided by 2. On average, you'll have 50 units in inventory. Is everybody clear there? So that's your average stock level. Multiplied by the holding cost per unit, i.e. the cost of holding 1 unit for 1 year. And what is the holding cost? It says here, the last line, it's 18% per annum of inventory value. So surely the cost of holding 1 unit for a year is 18% of the cost of 1 unit. Each unit here costs, from the first line, 25. And so the holding cost, 18% of 25 is this right, please? $4.50? Again, everybody with me? Innocent? And therefore, over a year, 50 units on average at $4.50 is $225. And therefore, the costs involved here, add the two together, 611,101. Is it 801 a year? Obviously, in addition, there is the cost of actually buying the units. But surely, whatever happens over the year, you will be buying 1,800 units. And so, that cost will be the same whatever happens. But if you order different quantities each time, if you ordered 200 units, you'd need fewer deliveries, that cost would fall. But if it was 200 units each time, the average inventory would be higher, that cost would go up. The purchase price is constant whatever happens here. But our job, what order quantity would give the minimum total cost. Alright? You're all with me? Alright, well, let's not waste time here. We want the optimum order quantity. But one extra bit here is that if we do order bigger quantities, if you order between 200 and 499 units, for example, you'll get a discount on purchase price. And so we're going to do the whole thing. I hate saying step 1, step 2, but it really is here. For step 1, you ignore any discounts. And ignoring any discounts for the moment, the optimum, the best order quantity, you've got the formula for on your formula sheet. You calculate the economic order quantity using the formula. You're given the formula on the formula sheet. Where it comes from is irrelevant. You've just got to remember the symbol rules. So check your formula sheet, please. I gave you one. That's the one you get in the exam. This formula will tell you the best order quantity. The EOQ, the economic order quantity, it's root 2C0D over CH. Easy arithmetic, but remember what the symbols mean. CO is the order cost each time. What is it for our question, please? Yeah, check me. For our question, it's the delivery cost of 32. Every time we place an order, we're paying 32. D is the total demand per annum. What is it for this question? 1800, thank you. And finally, CH. I remember stressing at F2, those of you who are here. Different books write it differently, but it always means the same. It's the inventory holding cost for 1 unit for 1 year. Here, I told you the holding cost is 18% of value. So for per annum, so for 1 unit, 18%. The cost of 1 unit was what, 25, was it? I've lost my sheet. And so I know I worked it out before, but what did it come to? Was it $4.50? Mm-hmm. And so apart from, remember, the symbols, the arithmetic now should be trivial. The optimum order quantity to get minimum total cost. 2 times 32 times 1800 divided by 4.5, which comes to, if you'll check me, is it 160? We all there? All right, that's step 1. Simply sticking figures in the formula, ignoring any discounts. Step 2, which is unlikely to be relevant, and is irrelevant here. It turns out that are discounts available. And again, I don't know what I've done with my sheet. Oh, here it is. There are discounts available depending on order quantity If we order up to 199, there's no percent discount and so on. Well, here, of course, at the optimum quantity of 160, we wouldn't be getting a discount. Do you agree? However, just for completeness, if the EOQ falls in a discount band, so if the economic order quantity had been 260, you know what I mean by discount band, if it had been 260, you'd be entitled to a discount. Do you agree? Well, if it does, then recalculate the EOQ. Now, all I mean is, I say it's irrelevant here, and it'll almost certainly be irrelevant in the exam. But the point is, if your answer had been 260, then, of course, the purchase price of each unit wouldn't have been 25. You agree? It would be 1% less. And if the purchase price was different, then, of course, the holding cost would be slightly different as well. Everybody clear what I mean? Katerina? If the purchase price is a bit lower than 25, the holding cost is a bit lower. The change would be small, but strictly you would have to recalculate it. All right? Here, irrelevant though, step 3 is calculate the total cost at the EOQ. And so here, a bit of a repeat of before, the first bit certainly. What are the total costs per annum? The order cost. How many orders, please, a year? Oh, I didn't hear it, but we'll check. We're ordering 1,800 units over the year. The EOQ was 160. And so how many orders will we need? Oh dear, sorry. Is it 11.25? And a small thing, but you'd expect it. Don't round it. If this comes to a fraction, as it does here, leave it as a fraction. Not because you're going to order a quarter of a batch or something, but we assume it's a long-term policy. So, all right, this year you'd have 12 orders, but there'll be some left over. Next year you'd only need 11 orders, and so on. So, on average, it will be 11.25 orders. We clear? So it's a minor thing, but it would lose you a mark. Each order costs us how much? 32. So the cost over a year, 11.25 times 32. Is it 360? The other stock cost is the holding cost. The average stock level is always half the order quantity. So if we're ordering 160 each time, your average stock will be 80 units. And the cost of holding stock, we've worked out, it was $4.50 a unit, wasn't it? Giving us 360, a total of 720. And of course, before we carry on, that is better than before. If we ordered 200 each time, the cost, 100 each time, the total was 801. The economic order quantity, this cost falls to a minimum. The total cost is only 720. Try any order quantity you want, and the total of those will be higher. Everybody with me? However, we need slightly more here. Can anyone tell me whether you did F2 or you didn't? Why might it be better in fact, in this question, why might it be better to order a bigger quantity each time? Yeah. As far as stock costs are concerned, that is the best. At 160 each time, these costs will be a minimum. However, despite that, you may prefer to order 200 each time, because if you ordered 200 each time, you'll get a discount on purchase price. So although the stock costs are bound to be higher, cheaper purchase price may make it worthwhile. All right? And so if there are discounts involved, that's the stock costs, but let's also add in the purchase price over a year. Over the year, you're buying 1,800 units, and if you're ordering 160 each time, you're not getting any discounts. You'll pay a full 25 per unit. And so the costs will be how much? £45,000. In total, therefore, 45,720 a year. The reason we can't stop there, though, is, as I said, if you're prepared to order a bigger quantity each time, you'll get the discount, the purchase price will fall. At a different quantity, the stock costs will be higher. There's no quick way, you've got to cost it out and see what's better. And so, the final step, 4, to see if it's worth ordering bigger quantities, you calculate total cost at the levels at which we first get discounts. What I mean by that, I'll do one, you do the other, then we've cracked it. How many do we have to order here to first get a discount? 200. Up to 199 there's no discount. 200 up to 400 you'll get a discount. So first of all we've got to try 200 units. We know the stock costs will be higher, but again, because of the discount, it may be beneficial. Well, let's do this one together and then you can do the last one. First of all, order costs. You still need 1,800. This time it'll be 9 orders. The cost each time, 32, is I think 288. So that cost is lower. The holding costs, there's one tiny trick, but it's minor. But first of all, please, what will your average stock level be if we're ordering 200 each time? It's always half the order quantity. The average stock will be 100. And the tiny little trick here, the holding cost, remember, is 18% of purchase price. Before the purchase price was 25, surely though if you're getting a discount, the purchase price will be 1% lower. It'll be 99% of 25. Everybody with me? So I know the difference is minimal, but even so, 18% of 99% of 25 is, I think, 4.455. And therefore the holding cost, 445.5. And of course that's higher. The total stock cost, therefore, 733.5, the higher before as you'd expect. However, as I've kept saying, it might be worth paying more because we'll pay less for the units. The purchase cost will go down a bit. What will the purchase price be? You still need 1,800 units. But with a 1% discount, it'll only cost 99% of 25. The purchase price will fall to you better check this. I get 44,550. By all means, set out your workings differently, but the net result's the same, whatever. But if you compare, stock costs, as I said, have gone up from 720 to 733. The purchase price has gone down. Well, it's the total that we're concerned with. The total has gone to 45,283.5. Is that clear? We're almost there, but for the moment, is that any better? Yes, it is. Clearly, at the moment, it would be better to order 200. However, we see one more bit to do. Tell me, please, why there'd be no point in costing out 300 units? Why would there be no point? Yeah, surely, if you order 300 units, the stock costs will be even higher. But at 300, there's no extra discount. So it cannot be any better. There's no point in costing out 300 or 250 or whatever. Do you agree with that? What's the only other level, please, that could be better for this question? Yeah, because if we order 500 or more, then although, again, the stock costs will be higher still, at 500, you'll get a bigger discount. It could be better. And so, again, no quick way. You've got to try every level at which you first get the discount. And so, try 500 units. Can you cost it out, please, at 500? And as a result, which is best? Sorry, if you've done it, check me, just for a second. And that's right. With 500 each time, you'll need fewer orders. As I said before, don't round the orders. But as a result, the ordering cost falls. The holding cost, with bigger orders, you've bigger average stock. So the holding cost goes up. And again, it's a tiny trick. But the holding cost is slightly different. However, the total cost must be higher. If you did a graph of the total cost, it's something like that. The minimum is the EOQ. Any other level, it'll get higher and higher. So I won't wind back, but the total stock costs have gone up again. However, the total purchase price is lower because of a bigger discount. 2% discount, 44,100. Again, I said you can set out your workings different, but the net result will be the same. Is it worth paying higher stock costs to get lower price? Surely whichever is the lower of those three must be the best. So 45,317, 45,283. I am right, aren't I? The cheapest of the three is this one. Yep. And therefore, you will order, what was it, 200 units each time. It'll be always one of those. The economic order quantity from the formula, the levels at which you first get the discount. It could be any one of the three here. And again, I hope, without me repeating why, I hope you're all clear, any other levels are bound to be more expensive. It would be pointless checking the names. Alright? That will never ever be 25 marks. He's not so generous. In fact, the chance of quantity discounts are tiny. Usually when it's asked it, it's only to be the EOQ and a bit of costing like we did at the beginning, you know? It'll never be 25, so in the same question, you'll split it, part A, part B, part C, yeah? In the same question, certainly this in writing. And we can always ask receivables, inventory in the same question, but he keeps them separate. Part A a bit of that, part B a bit of receivables, or whatever. Okay? But as I've said, I do think there's going to be this time. It's been several exams now.